Sometimes I am willing to procrastinate a result in order to prioritize an experience. But if you do that too often, you'll never get the result. On the other end, if you do it too often the other way, you'll never enjoy the experience, potentially.
You have a certain number of days available to construct and build toward that goal, whatever it is. Fitness, finance, whatever. Every day that you procrastinate, you are going to take more time to get to that goal.
Next Level Nation, welcome back to another episode of Next Level University, where we help you level up your life, your love, your health, and your wealth. Today, for episode number 1790, one way to work through procrastination. So we're going to hit you with a 15-minute episode because we've changed our schedules this week, and we are trying to play at a new run rate. Alan and I both have a lot more clients, and things have been nuts behind the scenes in really good ways. I told somebody this the other day. I said it's very much aligned overwhelm. I would rather be overwhelmed with abundance than overwhelmed due to scarcity. And that's kind of what's happening right now. So, okay, one way to work through procrastination. I was on a podcast yesterday, and the person, I don't remember the name of it, but the person was a procrastination coach. And first of all, I said to them, that's such an interesting thing.
Very
interesting niche. Yeah, it's super interesting. How did you do that? How did you get into that? And he told me. And then he interviewed me on productivity, procrastination, which was weird for me. It's like, I don't really think I do that much, and I don't really think I'm that productive. So we'll see what kind of value we can add.
What'd you find out? Super productive?
I had to talk myself up because I was like, Kev, you do 15 podcast episodes a week. You got to be somewhat productive to get all that done and not everything else burned to the ground.
Yeah, you're very, very productive. Whether or not you consider yourself productive is a different story.
It depends. It depends on what room I'm in. So one of the questions was, how would you help someone overcome procrastination? Because one of the first questions was, what is your definition and relationship with procrastination now? And I said, my relationship with it is procrastination is sometimes a necessary pivot that feels bad but is the right choice in the moment. Procrastinating stuff that doesn't need to get done right now is pretty important. And sometimes you find out that it never needed to get done, it wasn't that important, or it just kind of worked itself out eventually. Don't always bank on that, but it does happen sometimes. And he said, what is the advice you'd give to somebody who is struggling with procrastination? And I said, there was a time where I lived with my best friend, Matt. And when I lived with him, we were renovating his home. He had a top-bottom duplex, and it was going to be a rental unit, and I was helping him renovate it. And one of the things we wanted to do is we wanted to put a new light on the front porch. And we bought the light at Home Depot, and then we put it somewhere, and we said we'll get to that next week. And every time the weekend would roll around and we would get ready to do it, we would just get overwhelmed and procrastinate, and we would play Call of Duty or NBA 2K, and we would just hang out, order wings, and just chill. And we couldn't figure out why. It just was like, I don't know, man. I don't feel like doing it this weekend. And then we dug into it. Well, we're going to have to take the old light off. We're going to have to rewire it. We're going to have to turn the power off. We might have to paint if the new light isn't as big as the old one. And eventually, I think 3 or 4 weeks into this procrastination, we said, let's just open the box and let's take a look at this son of a bee. And let's just see. Let's just see what it looks like. We open up the box. It came with very simple, easy, detailed instructions. It was like 4 screws. And we said, all right, let's go look at the old light that's already on there. It's 4 screws. Okay. I mean, how hard is really turning off the power? I know exactly where it is. I've done it a dozen times. We've done this before. Let me go turn off the power. Let's just toy around with it. Eventually, it took us 15 minutes to take the old light off, put the new light on, and it was perfect. It was easy. We didn't have to paint anything. It was easy. So I said on this podcast, I think one of the best things to do is to understand that progress is not completion. You don't have to complete something to make progress. One of the reasons we don't start it is because we don't want to go through the entire process of doing it, but you don't have to. Yesterday, I got an email from a client who said, hey, Kev, can you check something out for me? Can you check this thing out for me? And in my mind, I immediately said, this is going to be a giant pain in the ass. I'll do it Saturday. I got time Saturday. I'll do it Saturday. And then I said, honestly, let me just take a look and kick the tires. Let me shine a flashlight on it and see what happens. It took 2 minutes. It literally took 2 minutes. And now I'm 2 minutes ahead because now I can send a message back and cool. Now we're at the next step. So that's the advice I would give to anybody who does struggle with procrastination. Don't think about it as I need to complete this. Think about it as the goal today is to gain awareness around the process of what I'm doing. And you might find, just like when you go to the gym for 5 minutes, that's your goal. I'm just going to go to the gym today for 5 minutes. When you hop on the treadmill, you're already there. 5 minutes might turn into 10, and that could be the way to build a new habit. So that is my take.
I've been thinking about productivity for 9 years because, truth be told, when I left corporate, I realized that I wasn't actually that self-disciplined. So in school, the bell rings, you have to be in class, you're punished if you're not. The bell rings, class is over, bell rings again for the next class. Then later on, there's all this structure. Sports teams, there's head coach, assistant coach, defensive coach. There's all this accountability built into the system. There's so much accountability built into school and into sports and into college even. College is a little different because some classes you don't have to go to. I used to check what is it called? The
syllabus?
Nice. That's the
I know
one.
Shit too, man.
Yeah, nice. I used to check the syllabus to see if class was required. If it was, I'm going to cancel this class. I'm going to take another one. No, I'm kidding. But there's less, but there's still a lot of structure. You're graded. There's progress reports. There's so much structure. There's TAs, teaching assistants. There's lab, all this stuff. And then you go to corporate, same deal, man. There's so much accountability. You have a desk, you have your office, you go to the office, you have to report once a week to your superior. There's just so much accountability built into the system. And then when I was 26, I quit corporate and I was on my own. Whatever you want to do, Alan. What do you feel like doing today, baby? Get a lift in, shoot a video, maybe do some fishing, eat some Chipotle. And I realized, holy crap, I'm not as disciplined as I thought. Because up to that point, I had been pretty achiever-oriented. And that was really hard for me. And I think statistically speaking, I probably had more discipline than most. But that is something that I think people go through a lot. Because here's the problem. Everyone out there listening or watching this, at work, you probably have quite a bit of discipline. Whatever your job is, whatever your main role is. But when it comes to the gym, or when it comes to yourself, or when it comes to things where there aren't systems of accountability, there's just so much less discipline. There's so much more procrastination. Procrastination is a byproduct of a lack of self-discipline because procrastination is the stuff we don't want to do. Pure and simple. And there's not a single person I coach or ever have coached that isn't procrastinating and or neglecting something. Of course. There is no human who's not neglecting something. That's not a thing. The closest I've ever seen is Emilia, and she still has a laundry list of things that we procrastinate. Every single Sunday, we have a certain list of things that we need to get done, and then we have a certain things of want to get done. And the want to get done list doesn't ever go away. And it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger.
Your life sounds fairly exhausting.
It
I
is.
think my life's pretty exhausting, but yours sounds way more exhausting than mine does.
It really is.
Well, we not trade.
Yeah. So, but you and I talk about this all the time. I think it's so important. And I actually just changed my phone yesterday. So my Google Tasks list. So I have a Google Tasks list with MIT's most important tasks. And I have on it, I'd say at least 50. And so, okay, let me give you an example. Get verified on LinkedIn. I could get verified on LinkedIn. We're podcasters.
I don't even know how to do that.
Same. It's on there. It's been on there for probably a year.
Yeah, makes sense.
Right? What's another good example? full iPhone cleanup.
Oh God, same.
I mean, think about how many photos I have. It's 65,852. What the hell, man?
I know.
Of what? They add up.
They do.
I don't need 65,000 photos on my phone.
Isn't that wild to think of, that your phone's just hanging on to 65,000 photos and it doesn't even matter? It's like, you could how many more could you take if you wanted to? Another 65,000, I'm sure.
Yeah, for sure. Well, there's
How
a lot
wild
of,
is that?
A lot of well,
What a weird
for
time
sure.
to
And
be
they're
alive.
4K photos, man. It's a lot of them.
No, it's
right?
and
These are
that's
really-
not. Is that counting videos?
I don't know. Yeah, I think so.
Let's not go down the rabbit hole.
Okay, yeah, let's not.
Next Level Nation, what is happening? If you've thought to yourself, I want to try coaching, but you don't really know where to start, group coaching would be a wonderful place for you. That's really why we created it in the first place. We start a new round every 90 days. So if you're hearing this, go to the website, nextleveluniverse.com, and we have the landing page where you can actually hold your spot right now. Even if there's a group going on right now, you can still lock your spot for the next one. The biggest thing that we've seen is as we get closer and closer to the date, unfortunately, some people end up missing. The group fills up and they can't do it, and then they end up regretting that. So please head over to the website. The link will be in the show notes, and we would love to see you there.
There's all these things that I've been putting off cleaning my iPhone for at least a year. And it messes with your self-esteem. It's really hard. I want to try to make this land in a way that I never have before. This is why achieving goals is so brutal. Because it requires you to do so much more. You just have to do so much more. I mean, you just said my life is exhausting, and it is. But I will achieve so much more than the statistical average, and I would love to believe that it's possible to have a life that doesn't suck and achieve more. And I just don't know if that's real. I just don't. So it's almost like the moment you set a goal. So Matt had goals. He wanted to rent out the upper part of that property. He wanted to move out and then rent the bottom unit and then have a rental property. That's why there's stuff to do. You could just play video games.
We did a lot.
Right. And every time you were playing video games, instead of doing something productive, you were wasting time that could have been allocated towards your goals. And you have said this for years, and it's so true. Would you rather wait longer to get your goal? So everyone think about a goal you have. Maybe it's buy a house, maybe it's dream car, maybe it's start a family, whatever that goal is, whatever that vision board is. You have a certain number of days available to construct and build toward that goal, whatever it is. Fitness, finance, whatever. Every day that you procrastinate, you are going to take more time to get to that goal. And I think it really does come down to that simple truth. And a lot of us have a really hard time with this procrastination thing. So what I would say is procrastinate the things that matter less. That's the only way I've been able to deal with this is, and we say this at the NLU team, everyone on the NLU team has their top three priorities. Christina's a good example. Christina has support the team, digital assets, and IT. I said, let everything else fall. Let everything else fall. Someone else will catch it or will let it fall. And I try really hard to do that in my own life too. And so for me, it's coaching, training, podcasting. Those are the three that I try really hard not to let fall. And for you, you have your three. And so I think in life, trying to be good at everything, and this is a holistic podcast, health, wealth, life, and love, it's really, really, really alarmingly difficult. And I want to give people it's almost like I want to give you the permission slip to complain about it. Give you the permission slip to be like, yeah, okay, today kind of sucks. I have 12 back-to-backs, no bathroom breaks, and I will achieve my goals more than other people. And I will be fulfilled more than other people. You just talked about working on your birthday yesterday. and how you didn't want to take it off because you knew that you'd waste time toward your goals, right?
Yeah, it was a big piece of it. Yeah. It was also, that's always kind of been the way I am. I mean, if it was a job, if I was going to a job I didn't like, yes, I would definitely try to use that as an excuse to take the day off. For sure. But that's not the case. That's not the case anymore. Last night, so Taryn got me a wonderful cake, and we made homemade pizza, and it was great. Right? I was like, homemade pizza, it's lower calorie. I'll be able to measure it. Let's do that. But I told her, I said, I'm going to have a bigger slice of cake than I intended on with a side of ice cream. Let's do it. The reason is number one, I'm kind of already ahead of my weight loss goal, to the grind to 165, as I'm calling it. But I'm okay if it takes me a couple extra days.
Right.
It was just that. It's like I'm willing to procrastinate. Sometimes I am willing to procrastinate a result in order to prioritize an experience.
There you go. That was fire.
But if you do that too often, you'll never get the result.
Ever.
On the other end, if you do it too often the other way, you'll never enjoy the experience, potentially. So that's why it always boils down to this is a personal thing. If I was doing a bodybuilding show that was on a certain date and I had to make a certain weight, I wouldn't have had the cake.
Exactly.
I wouldn't have had the pizza probably. I would have had ground beef and rice like I have every day, and veggies every day for the last however many days. That's probably what I would have had, but it's different. I can prioritize it differently. The goal can get procrastinated a little bit further down the line, and that's what makes it personal.
That's a really good distinction, is you are either procrastinating the goal, getting the goal, or you're procrastinating the thing you don't want to do toward the goal. It's almost like you're putting off the goal or you're putting off the thing.
Well, yeah, but they're the same.
At all times. They're the same thing. Yeah, kind of.
So you're always putting off the goal, kind of.
If you procrastinate.
Procrastinate,
yeah. Last piece. If you had a fitness show and you were going to step on stage, and I really hope this lands in a new way based on the buildup of this episode, the pain of you getting stomped on stage is greater than the pain of you not having the cake.
Yes.
That's why it works. It always works. I had one of the group coaching members reach out and say, "Hey, I'm struggling with habit tracking. What's your advice? How can you help me?" Great question. I said, commitment device. Look, have you ever heard of a commitment device? She said, no. I said, a good example is one of my clients paid me double for one of the sessions, and then it carries over to the next session, and I keep the money if he doesn't get 100% on his tracker. And he keeps on redoing it. Every single session, I say, hey, do you want this to pay for this session?
So well.
Yeah,
it works literally works so well.
He literally said, and this is his words, not mine, and he's listening right now, I just don't want to lose that $147.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that is exactly what it is. You will do more not to lose than you will to win. And the stuff we procrastinate is the stuff where there's no punishment. That's a thing. And eventually there's a punishment. It's just a very delayed one. So you have to try to find a way to Miyagi yourself to actually get yourself to do it. And by the way, I do want everyone to know there's no one who doesn't procrastinate. There's no one, including me. I have mail I haven't looked at in months. Everyone procrastinates something. And I need to get to it. And just, here's what I would say. Everyone procrastinates. Some people procrastinate less and on the less important things.
I'm glad we did this one because it's very tactical. It's a very simple, not necessarily easy thing to do, or easy, not simple, whatever. I don't really understand the difference between the two. Some people say it's simple but not easy, or easy but not simple. I don't know the definitions well enough to know if that actually makes any sense. So maybe it's something easy to understand but hard to practice. That's what we're going to go with.
I think that's what people are trying to say.
Okay, well, I'm going to say that from now on because
Sounds
I don't
good.
understand the other one. Yeah. It's like
it's simple to work out consistently, but it's not easy.
Yeah, but what do you mean it's simple? Like conceptually it's simple?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
a
in
Rubik's
theory,
Cube is simple. In theory, you turn some shit and make everything the same color, but in practice it's like impossible. I think I don't know. Maybe I'm just saying it wrong.
No, that saying is actually garbage, kind of. Honestly.
Like fall down 7 times, get up 8.
I never liked the it's simple but not easy, even though I've used it. I've actually used it and then regretted it because I don't think it's not good enough, in my opinion.
Well, it doesn't make any sense to me, but a lot of stuff doesn't make any sense to me that makes a lot of sense to other people. So I'm just assuming I don't understand it. That's where my natural tendency is. Okay, if you want to hear Alan and I clown about one-line bumper sticker self-improvement in a kind-hearted, joking way, not a hurtful, toxic way, make sure you subscribe. And more than anything, it's a great opportunity to get a little bit better every single day. Again, some days you're not going to want to listen to a podcast. You're not going to want to grow. You're not going to want to journal. You're not going to want to exercise. But if you get the notification on your phone that NLU released a new episode, which we do every single day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, maybe that'll be the gentle kick in the butt you need to do the thing. So subscribe on whatever platform you're watching or listening to us on.
We just updated the website. It is ready to accept members of Group 16. Which starts on October 8th, Tuesday, October 8th, 5 to 6 p.m.
Nice.
There's bi-weekly sessions. Picture a 90-day period where everything we just talked about in this episode, it's designed to keep you accountable. It's like being on a sports team. Like-minded people, no one wants to let the team down, assistant coach, 2 head coaches, engagement in WhatsApp community private, systems where you're checking in every other week. It's connection calls in between. It's literally designed to help you stay as accountable as possible. And yeah, sign up.
There's no way that you don't leave the 90 days being the most consistent version of yourself. If you do it and you commit to it and you show up and you track habits, you will leave as the most consistent version of yourself 100%. That is a guarantee.
Use the promo code NLU Listener, all one word, NLU Listener. And you'll get 30% off, which comes to less than $97 per month for the 3-month program.
It's a rare bargain, as they say. A bargain at twice the price, some may say. You ever heard that one before?
No. Makes no sense.
Never heard that before. It makes total sense. Yeah, even if you doubled the price, it'd still be a bargain. A bargain at twice the price. Son?
Mm-mm.
You don't agree?
I mean, I agree that
it shows how much belief Alan has in group coaching.
No, saying makes no sense.
Kidding.
Why would you double the number and then
it's
say
like
it's
saying,
a bargain?
It's like saying the price is so good that you could double it and it would still be a bargain.
Got it. Okay, that's the first time in my entire life that landed.
What can I say? I'm a wizard. I heard that from a lot of older gentlemen. When I used to work at the gas station, I'd go to their window and be like, it's $47.25. Boss. Because I used to say boss a lot more than I do. And there was this one guy he was an older gentleman. He used to say, a bargain at twice the price. And I was like, dude, what in the hell are you talking about? Give me the $47. I got somebody waiting over here. I gotta check this person's oil. I don't even know how to do that. I need the cash, son. As always, we love you. We appreciate you. Grateful for each and every one of you. And at NLU, we don't have fans. We have family. We will talk to you all tomorrow.
Talk to you soon.